Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the return of Trackmania Rewind? So many impressive Trackmania world records have been set. And what we're gonna do today is recap all of them. Starting from January 2022, and going all the way up to December 2023. There are over 30 individual maps where world records have been beaten, but the world records have also been improved several times on those maps, so it's gonna be a long video, a long stream. You get some snacks, get cozy, and let's take a look at some of the most impressive accomplishments in all of Trackmania in the past 2 years. The first record that was set in 2022, and the first one we're going to take a look at, it was D13. The first thing that happened in 2022 is that I lost one of my favorite world records that I've had. And I haven't played this map since. So, I beat the world record. It was a 1:03:01. And I managed to improve it down to a 1:02:67. We did a trick here, which is the bug slide on the edge. Carry that through the turn. And then follow it up with a huge shortcut across the mound here. I had a really wide turn, so huge lead. Into the last bug slide. I even hit the wall twice, getting the double wall bang like I was going for. And I kept this. And I thought when I set this record, like, who is gonna be mad enough to try to hunt this and take it back? Like, who's gonna... Like, I played this map for maybe 80 hours, you know, to beat this record. Crosshairs did. And in classic Crosshairs fashion, if you remember, he named his new world record, not gonna lie, a pretty decent PB for your standards. And he managed to beat me by just 0.02 of a second. Here is the current world record on D13 race. Slightly different approach for the uphill, but we both delay the gear change till this uphill. Here he does a small flick to get less airtime onto the booster, more speed. And we're about equal before the bug slide setup. But here, Crosshairs gets a beautiful one. Actually, no, I forgot this comparison. I am so far ahead. It was perhaps this shortcut, which was better, yeah. No, it was the edge shortcut. Still behind, though. There's still improvement potential. But there's 3 really difficult tricks in this run, and getting them all in a row without fail is no easy task. And he catches up in the wallbang, doesn't landing bug, and is able to hold the lead through the last turn onto the booster. Just 0.02 of a second. The difference. Perhaps I'll get this back sometime, but not right now. The second map, everybody, that was beaten was quite an astonishing one. And for this, there is a YouTube video. Luckadol, in the start of 2022, spent 500 hours to beat a 01 race. 500 hours of hunting one 23-second long map. What this map requires, this is the first map in the entire campaign. What this requires now is precision on a ridiculous level. The world record was crazy when Draker got a 2381. It's already absurd. You need 2 perfect speed slides, the perfect downhill, and this new trick they've been doing, which is a speed slide in the uphill. Small speed slide touch there, and he was able to beat it with a 2380. Just absurd run. And here, you can really see what it takes to get one of these records. This is a compilation of all his runs. These are all top runs on the map that he's driven. If I remember, it's like 200 cars. And they're all under 23.9 seconds. And you don't really get the feeling of just how many cars there are. Yeah, look at this. So 110 runs that are 2385, 54 runs that are 84, 15 runs that are 83, 10 runs that are 82, 1 world record tie, and then the eventual untied 0.80. So you're looking at about 200 runs of top 3 quality in the world. The third map that was beaten in 2022 was BO7 Race. Let's take a look at this. So the Croatian car that we're watching is his new world record. The gray skin is his old world record. And the start here is already quite tricky. You need this landing on the hill there to build speed. And he has a little bit more speed than his personal best, which he can carry into about 2 or 3 hundredths of a lead. Then they do the bug slide skip across the water edge here into a bug slide, landing backwards, flicking into a last bug slide into the finish. This strategy was found in 2021, and the idea is that when you slide with this angle, the car actually loses no speed at all. And then when the time is right, you can steer back into a bug slide angle, then activate the bug slide and get a last like tap of it into the finish. Like, I really wonder if at this point, you know, do we have world records that are going to stand for the rest of the lifespan of the game? It's very possible. The next map that was beaten, it was D09 Race. Trinity beats Demon and names the replay easy. Oh, easy. And we'll see it from Trinity's point of view here. 41.59, a really strong record. Does like a flick there to get more speed. As he gets less airtime on the transition to the grass. Then this wobble gives you a lot of speed down towards the checkpoint. They are equal as they pass through. Trinity sets up wide for this drift and a beautiful angle, but you always have to slow down here to land in this downhill and then carry speed towards the statue once more. Demon gets a better landing here. And then this part, I mean, this is one of the coolest turns in the campaign. Look at the precision required here. Just, whew. You can follow that all the way through. Demon has a massive lead. Trinity decides to risk it, jumps just under the sign, and then slows down enough for the finish as well. 7 hundredths faster. 41.5. Really strong record. 19th of February, 2022. Records are flying here. There's one every week. Records are just flying. And the story on D11 is interesting. This one was beaten in 2019 by Drew, this record here. And the record before that was from 2012. So this map was one of the ones that felt quite optimized. It really felt like we wouldn't see many improvements here. What you would do is you would jump to the side, release, land in the exact curve of the ring, and then fly into the finish. And Drew impressively manages to land this with a bug slide. So here has the angle to bug slide with the back wheel and get slightly sharper line to the finish. And beats the world record. However, Dennis beat this by 0.2 of a second. It went from 9:44 to 9:22 with a new strategy. And what you do is, you know, you jump with sort of the same setup, but you don't try to get a clean angle. You try to go sideways, land on the nose, and then just fly straight to the finish. Like, with this, he beat some of the earliest tool-assisted speedruns on the map. At this point, you shouldn't be surprised that basically any map can still be improved. But there was one that I did not see getting improved whatsoever. A04 acrobatic. The shortest map in the entire campaign. The world record here, like, 579 had been tied a few times. Strategy is very simple. Let's first watch Roland. The thing you do here is you do a start trick, you get an edge bug with the back wheel, and then you land and you drive into the finish. This run from Roland, when analyzed, turned out to be a 579.1. The last decimal was a 1. And Trackmania rounds down to the 100th. So if you beat this by 2 thousandths of a second, if you get a 5.789, it will count as a 78. I hope that makes sense. So you only needed to gain like a fraction of time. So let's see what Jav could do. Jav from New Zealand. Let's give him the skin. Here's the comparison. Slightly further to the right. And though his car stops here, it's because the run was driven on an online server, but the actual difference is those 2 thousandths of a second that he needed, and it is a 78. Jav improved this further, so this was like a 5.78.9. Jav now has a 5.78.2, I believe, and he's chasing the 77 on the map. Like, this is a map that you could easily lose your mind over. So we'll see if Jav gets the 77. It's very exciting, honestly, for such a short map. The next map is one that you guys might know well. Pablo GD and the story of A07 Race. Raceta beat it by 1/100th of a second. Kinda out of nowhere. He tied it for a while. Demon also got very close to beating Pablo, and they're still trying to get a .18. Here we go. Pablo versus Resta. A07. Different setup in the start. Resta setting up wider. Getting more speed towards the drop down. They both slow down and it's equal. Resta ahead towards last corner, sets up wider, and the uphill gets more speed. And will catch up with that into the finish. Very interesting on this map how things tend to equal out. But just the precision, right? Like, you're pushing every corner. Every corner is just perfect. Let's take a look at the next map. A02. Old world record from Alien. Was thought to be almost unbeatable. Alien from France. And the strategy was to jump diagonally from the right side to the left side, land on the border and have it push you towards the last corner with a ton of speed, jump into the finish. This was not beaten with the same strategies. The only way this was beaten was with a new trick done by Roland. When it was discovered that you could jump out from the left side to the right side, drive between these trees, and then over wall into the finish. At first saving 200ths, but Roland later improved this. 1528. So let's take a look at the final world record from Roland here. This is the one that still stands today. And here we go. Still gotta get really good starts with the no slides here. Then speed slide wiggle. Jump through, and right here Roland does a no slide for speed. No slide, carrying speed towards the angle, and early overwall into the finish. That was done in March of 2022. We still have a lot of records to show, guys. The 9th record of 2022 was a 13 race by Jab. Original record by Link. If I remember correctly, I'm not sure if he actually beat it. Did Jab have this at one point? I could be remembering wrong, but the the world record did eventually end up in Link's hands. Different shortcut angles here, and Jab with way more speed into the finish, at least in this comparison. But the record that was done and which stood on the map here for a long time is the one from Link. He improved to a 0.47. Let's watch this comparison one more time. This is Australia versus New Zealand. Link from Australia, Jab from New Zealand. And with this run, Link actually only drove 700ths slower than the tool-assisted record at the time with this route. Within 700ths of a second of the TAS. Beautiful skip with the bug slide, straight onto the booster, clean line into the finish. Every year I feel like we add a little bit more into each run. One thing players have realized across the board is that this small right input towards the finish, like if you position your car slightly diagonal, the wheel sometimes touches the finish line a few thousandths earlier. The 10th map, D08 Speed. Classic battle, Race Hans versus Hefest. Hefest was actually unhappy with this one. If you can imagine that, being unhappy with a world record, I think you'll see why in this comparison. Let's watch from Race Hans' point of view. In the start here, there is a trick to get less airtime, but it's very inconsistent, so they just jump straight. Speed slide on the platform, and then it is barely possible to drive this next turn full speed with all that speed going through. Hefest like way ahead at this point. Race Hans setting up better for this turn though, and getting slightly closer. In the dirt turn, Hefest has the better setup. And just look at how far ahead he is. At this point, he is over a 10th ahead of the world record from Race Hans. Going into the last corner, you do a release here and then push. And the last turn you have to drift and then cancel the drift and get more speed towards the finish. And Hefest, very unfortunately, with a 10th of a lead and the best splits we've ever seen on this map, messes this turn up ever so slightly. Just gets weak speed out of it, had a bit more room to push and loses the entire 10th. But still stays 100th ahead. Like seeing this difference into the last turn, if you give Race Hans, I think almost a 10th. Yeah, I think if you give Race Hans 1/10 of a second, they're equal here. And then you can really see just the difference. We can wait with the line, everybody. This is not the only half-fast world record in this compilation. The 11th world record is from Dennis. 13th of April, he beat C09 race. A world record that was driven by Nock in 2019, I think. He is from Germany, but he likes the Japan car skin, so let's give it to him. This map has been completely obliterated with shortcuts. The first, it's an entire reroute, really, but you jump down here. Both players get a small landing bug, but it doesn't really matter because they still have optimal speed for this pipe bounce into the second checkpoint on the map. So you skip directly to the second checkpoint, and then you want to make your way back to the first one. And you can do that right here. You can crash the wall with the engine off to slow yourself down just enough to jump through here. And then now you have all checkpoints, and you can just make your way to the finish. Dennis still a tenth ahead, jumps a little bit wide on this last jump, but still enough to stay ahead. This pipe bounce is extremely far, and you have to land carrying full speed, which if you see both of these landing angles, they tend to bug almost all the time. The next world record that was beaten, guys, was one with a prize pool attached. We put on an event we called Time Hunters, where we basically invited top players in Trackmania Nations Forever to compete live with a time frame of a few hours. And whoever got the best time would win the prize pool. So we invited Roland, we invited Demon, Race Hans, and Dennis to compete for CO5. You've already seen all these 4 names beat some world records here. Race Hans got this one. His personal best by 400. That is a good airtime reduction. That is good speed. This is a moment to pay close attention to the chat. He is far ahead now. Needs to try to nail the ending. And this could be a new world record. Down. Yeah, the drop down the sides.
By the drop down here. This left-hander is going to be where we see Race Hans get it
or go
not.
Outside.
Go outside, saving it a little bit here, but he does still have really good exit speed, not getting a bug, and he's now going to be ahead of the record into the final left-hander. This might be it if he gets a good left-hander right here, still ahead of the record, just a couple of speed sides, and he actually makes it.
Oh my god, it's a new record. For $875 plus a $375 bounty, Race Hans got the world record on CO5, and then it was fought for between him and Roland, and eventually improved to a 27. We'll take a look at the 27 as well. Red skin to the old one, and a green skin to the new one. This is the new world record from Race Hans on CO5. Starts out with a better no slide up the hill. Keep in mind, when they were playing this event live, I think Race Hans was just continuing as many runs as he could. And that meant, you know, accepting starts that are somewhat suboptimal for his standards. And here you can see, in the new run, he's probably already a tenth ahead of the old record. Just in that first 20 seconds. And then he went outside pillar in the second lap, but if you can aim it, the middle of the pillars is the fastest way to go. And then here in the last turn, some new strategies have been found. A trick known as the quantum slide could save about a tenth here. It's a very difficult map, and so there's a lot of things you might want to try before you try quantum slides in TMNF. It's not that easy to do. But great, gear up here, and then they do small. No airtime. And really where Race Hans is going to try to gain the most time is this last drop down if he can hit the middle. So here, he had to go outside on the old record. He does get a lot of speed for this, but middle is a few hundreds faster. Because it doesn't regain the time you lost before the setup. Beautiful inside turn, speed sliding towards the finish. And a 1:43.27 from Race Hans. Great accomplishment in June of 2022. The next record, guys, that was beaten was E04 Endurance. And this was quite a historic record. So this map has one shortcut reroute, but at this point it was officially like proven that the new reroute was completely faster and unbeatable. Let me try to explain this, because it's gonna get confusing. The new world record is from Link, okay? They both start out the same way. You turn around the start, you get the checkpoint that's behind the start. This is the last checkpoint in the original route, and then you go back to the start. Having picked up this checkpoint, you now have some room for creativity. Link does a huge ramp cut here in the new route through the start, landing in this downhill, then catching the booster and another ramp cut, building up so much speed that he can jump through this ring and fly over this sign and land into this checkpoint. Matt does a different path where he jumps to the same ring but goes down here. Both players are kind of trying to eliminate checkpoints so that they can end up with a good place to go to the finish from. Link is going to go to the finish from this checkpoint, jumping onto the bridges here, and the finish is the signs in the distance. Whereas Matt is now going to go to this checkpoint last. And basically, the two routes from here take a quite similar path through checkpoints. Going down here for Link, following the intended path of the map. And then a pretty precise jump. I don't remember if he wallbanged or not. Does wallbang to slow down and jump through here. Carrying speed for the uphills. And there's one really difficult strat you have to do for both routes, which with a lot of pressure is not made easier. You have to land at the start of this platform, build speed, and then jump through this ring and respawn. And then turn around. And now you skip even more of the track. Are you guys keeping track so far of where everyone is? Meh is basically doing what we saw Link do about 30 seconds ago, because they're in different parts of the map. And here at the end, we see the difference. So Meh has all the checkpoints. He has to go to the finish platform, and he jumps here. But this makes his last turn pretty slow, because the finish is fully to the left. And so though he gets here earlier, Link just has way more speed to the finish, and this is a 1 second time improvement because of that. Very cool to see this new route from Link being done. The reason it hasn't been done before is simply because these two ramp cuts and getting enough speed is so difficult. Like, this is such a far jump. And then after making it, you still have to drive for over a minute of precise obstacle. Very cool. Congratulations to Link. The next map that was beaten was at the time the oldest unbeaten record in the game. This is 2022. This record that we're gonna see beaten was from 2016, and it was considered like a magical freak accident when it was set on an 11-second map. Was by Magic Pete. He already had the world record with an 1180, and then he kept hunting the map and he got an 1167. It's a 12-second map and he has a 10th of a lead. 0.14 ahead of second, 0.2 ahead of third. And you know, as time goes on, some people improve in the top three. You can see it here. Nursens gets a bit closer. But look at how dominant this record is. We're in 2021 now, and he still has a full 10th on the rest of the top 10. But in 2022, a really big community effort was made to try to beat C10, and it was eventually beaten by Mig. Finnish player Mig was the one who beat it. So let's take a look at this. It's Finland versus Finland. Torille Tavataan. Here is the new world record on C10 acrobatic. So a slightly better start trick going backwards, and then for the shortcut approach, Magic Pete had it basically perfect. But if you slow this footage down, by the slimmest of margins, Mig crosses the finish line with that front left tire 1/100th of a second faster than Magic Pete did. But it's such a simple track. You will see if anyone can improve this. Map is getting very optimized now. The 15th map here was EO2 Endurance. It's a big shortcut map, but thank the Lord they're doing the same shortcut this time. No confusion. This map has been gone to town on by fastest way only. I want to quickly check it. Crosshairs is fastest way only. Lavafu is fastest way only. Raso is fastest way only. I am fastest way only. Insane is fastest way only. Roland is fastest way only. Dennis is fastest way only. Jav is fastest way only. And Hafest is fastest way only. I don't remember if Yuki is, because he's not that active. It might be all 10 that are fastest way only. It's pretty insane, and the differences are huge. 26 seconds between 1st and 10th. You'll see why. This map is ridiculous. This route was found by Jav using a computer algorithm, where basically what he did is he looked at every single possible checkpoint combination on this map. It's a huge mess of checkpoints. Calculated them all, and then let the computer try to find the fastest path through all of them. And this is one of the routes the computer came up with, but it requires 8 shortcuts. They've already done one. This is the second, flying into this bottom checkpoint here. Ahead of Crosshairs by about half a second. Now you're in the zigzag part. No shortcuts here for a while. There's just 3 checkpoints in like this huge flower-looking area from above. And it does lend itself for cool drifting. So a lot of time you can gain here with precision towards the walls. Then you are going out to the right here, but then you go opposite of the intended path. You just go straight. And now you're in the final section of the map, but you're not going to be here for too long. Just going to pick up this one checkpoint and then go down to the start of the map. So you're going from like checkpoint 20 something to checkpoint 2. With an overwall, and Crosshairs gets this so well compared to what Labafu had. Labafu got a landing bug, and just look at Crosshairs fly away. That's like 2 seconds of a lead. 1, 2. Now you again skip a checkpoint. You go from checkpoint 2 to checkpoint 4, and you're gonna pick up 3 later. And here you follow the intended path for just a little bit before the hardest shortcut on the map. This one is really wild. I'm gonna slow this down for you. You drift to the right, you then drift to the left, and you try to get a bug slide on the road border as the wheels lift up. So you need to get a crash into a bug slide here. It's the only way to make this gap. And then you can continue with speed. Super difficult to do, especially after already doing 3 big skips. But this is where the run really starts. This is when you're feeling the pressure. You got the hardest overwall done. Still only halfway through the run. Then you got another one here. There's 2 checkpoints next to each other. Very convenient if you can get across. But you just have to carry enough speed to make this gap. And both of them get it, of course. Crosshair still about a second ahead. Now the next shortcut is not that you climb over a wall, but you have to carry enough speed to jump over one. So in this next turn you have to have a lot of speed so that you can jump to the left and not crash any of these roads, also carrying enough speed that you'll be able to do the shortcut to the left here, over this wall. Labafu actually goes for a different setup of the same shortcut. You can see they take it, and then it's a different U-turn. Labafu wants a lot of speed, so he can climb here onto the last road, meeting up with Crosshairs, basically. And if you want to see what Crosshairs did, Crosshairs climbs here, lands on this road, takes a checkpoint from this side, but now because of this turn, he has to take a later wall climb over here. Still gets that one good. And now he has more speed for the final NASCAR part, staying about 1 second ahead. So huge world from Crosshairs. Really the only time you can gain realistically is like 1.5 seconds for a 3-minute map with 8 shortcuts. It's quite ridiculous to hunt, and it's a really impressive time here. I've hunted this. I have a 3:34. I am 9 and 8 seconds behind these 2 times respectively. And I can tell you, getting further than that is already really tough. So huge respect for this. Very, very strong records in September of 2022. The next map that was beaten was D10 Race. It's a shortcut map with a lot of skill to it. Since like 2011-ish, 2012, players have done the same exact start. You'll see it here. At 1.83 seconds, they both steer to the left. And because of that, they get the same exact wall climb. And so they're equal after the first shortcut. Demon, though, a little bit better drift here. Jump onto the scenery blocks. Carrying speed with the engine off. You jump to the right to pick up another checkpoint. And then jump back onto the road. Half with a better inside line here. Getting slightly closer. Demon, though, staying within range to snipe it in the last turn. Getting more speed onto the road. And then with a nice grass speed slide, makes the snipe happen. 44-23. Just 100 faster. Moving on. Unfortunately for me, man. Unfortunately for me, D14. I got the world record on this. I believe I was late 2021, and then Crosshairs beat it and said, so free, what the hell? And following it up with, if you beat this record with a new strat, you are a furry. And this is the current world record on D14. I tried this year to beat it. I got quite close. I haven't beaten it yet. We'll come back to this. So, to explain what the new strat is, I don't know. No, he didn't use it. I think I have a clip on my channel showing the new strategy. So this map has a shortcut here. You see this flower turn? The next checkpoint is onto this road. You just try to skip this flower. Two ways of doing that. So Portugal climbs already here. Gets a bug slide on the wall, bug slide landing. Portugal is the new strat. USA just goes normally. And look at this. What exactly happened? Well, Portugal gained about a second. It is so insanely difficult. But it gains a lot. You drift into a bug slide on the wall, and bug slide on the landing. It's 3 bug slides in a row to land that shortcut. But let's watch Crosshairs' world record, perhaps the last world record on this map, with the old strategy. To make matters worse, he even drove it with the Sweden car. Guys, I can't watch this, but but enjoy. I don't know if I want to look. I'm gonna thank some subs, I think. I mean, this hurts. You're gonna beat my world record? Why do you gotta do it with the Sweden car, you know? This is not right. So first shortcut here, pretty clean. Do I still have 1 lap world record? That I do, actually. And then you see the technical elements of this map, really difficult technically to drive. A lot of bugs you can get, a lot of slowdowns in the wall banks. And then you're on to 2 more laps of this. So you get that once, you still have to do it twice more without crashing, without bugging, without failing this wall climb. How many hours do you have on this map total? I have to be over 100 hours at this point. In total. This is the map I mentioned at the start of the stream. I played this in 2018 to get the world record. I was the first to do this shortcut in 2018. I played it in 2019. I played it in 2020. I played it in 2021. I played it in 2023. Definitely over 100 hours. Would be cool if Wirtual was building this up to reveal his new world record that he got off stream. I would never do such a thing. Hoarding world records before a rewind and then revealing them at the end. That would be cool, though. That would be cool. But I might have to disappoint you and say that I have not beaten this yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But this year, like, in 2024, I do want to get a TMNF record. It doesn't need to stand rank 1, but I am going to get 1. You can mark my words on that. We have the pace to beat this one for sure, and there are also more maps on my radar. The 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Crosshairs. A great run on D14 with the old strategy. The 18th world record that was beaten. And a huge improvement at that. A06 obstacle. Old world record from Logic was already really strong. And Link beat it by 1600ths. This record beats some early tool-assisted runs. It beats even some early cheated runs on the map. It's a fantastic record. Take a look. So you have to do a small ramp cut here and then follow that up with the flip. And Link got that really well, but what he did that you can't really see here is kind of insane. To me, at least, it's insane. This flip can take you like 20, 30 hours to get just once. And Link gets one of the best flips we've ever seen, and he follows it up with a small ramp cut here to get a slightly more speed and logic towards the finish. Then gets the nosedive. Clean over this obstacle. And into the finish. I would never try to go for this ramp cut after hitting this flip. I just wouldn't. If you tilt the car too much, you will flip. Your car will land upside down. But just skipping this tiny bit of the ramp gives you like 5 extra hundredths. Why is this flip so hard? Because the car never rotates enough. Rotating off this ramp and having the car rotate this much is so rare. So it's a map that, I mean, the flip was theorized in like 2012 already. And I think the first flip run happened in 2016, 2017. So even after the idea was kind of conceived of, it took 5 years for it to happen. It's really strong. Next map. Giga Chad from Sweden, improving his own world record on C12 and calling it ass. I don't know what it is with speedrunners in general and Trackmania players. Like, you beat a world record and you're just disappointed. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it myself. You always feel like you can improve further when you hunt the map for this long. Sweden car is the new world record, great car, the old one. You have to do these ramp tricks 3 times. Solution staying a little behind on the new one. But then a great last one, followed by a nice Neo slide, hitting the checkpoint line, jumping up on the scenery, and then last turn, dropping into the finish. 200s faster. And sure, you can see why he was disappointed. I mean, this turnaround right here is gorgeous. Managing to turn around exactly as he touches the checkpoint, carrying a lot of speed and jumping up perfectly, but then missing the approach here a little bit and maybe losing like 2 or 300s, 500s. That's where the disappointment is from, but his run was really good. We've got one more world record in 2022, and this was the battle for CO2, a map I have hunted in the past. Race Hunts' world record on this is from 2020. He beat my world record at the time, which was 38:30 with a 38:19. Huge improvement. And then Jan, who is one of the up-and-coming players in TMNF, managed to beat it. On this map, you have to do a wall bang, slam, and then drop down, speed slide, try to get a nosedive, and Jan here in the ending pulls off an extremely clutch end, getting all the way wide and then all the way wide again, having a ton of speed and overtaking Race Hunts. 38:16. These guys battled for about a month, and there are a couple of things you can do here, where instead of steering sharply to the left and staying on the road, it's been thought that you can just let the car go wide, jump off the track to the right here, drive off-road, and then rejoin the track over here. Only problem is you often landing bug right here, and when climbing up on the side, this is very bumpy. It's a bad ridge. You tend to get a lot of bugs here as well. But it's been theorized and it's been done by TAS, and the record was getting to a level where this was a suddenly, you know, viable way of improving further. Jan got a 38.0 something, and Race Hunts eventually got a 37.97. This is, I think, one of the best records that were set in 2022. Race Hunts 37.97 versus Jan 38.06. Similar wall bang, low airtime from Hans. Nice drop down, now a small speed slide. Low airtime. Massive start. Setting up all the way wide and then flicking into the corner, getting right by the wall. A wide setup. No airtime. Just ridiculous time. Ridiculous time. Guys, that was 2022. That was all the world records done in 2022. And 2023 got off to a bit of a slow start. The world records in TMNF now are getting ridiculous. When people are spending 500 hours on a map, when people are grinding, you know, for several months to beat certain records, it's hard to see how to improve further. But one thing you have to remember is to use the competition patch. The first world record of the year was set on the map C13 race. Hugo played this map and he came in from Trackmania 2 as his main game to TMNF, so one game backwards in history. And he just started playing the map to get a world record, but he forgot to install the competition patch, which we now use to differentiate legitimate runs from, you know, potentially cheated ones. For all we know, this is a legit run that he drove, but it's driven without the competition patch, so it can't be uploaded to the leaderboards. But he beat the world record, a 40.20, with his useless run 40.16. Let's take a look. Hugo plays in quite low resolution and also with a very stretched car. It is fascinating to witness. But this is just how he's gotten used to playing the game. This map has a trick where you fly and you hit the ring to get a backflip setup for a drift around this turn. Hugo in the gray car getting a huge lead towards Halfest. Then a drift up the hill. Really pushing the corners. And then last turn, full send. Sorry, he's the Norwegian car. Hugo's the Norwegian car, Halfest the gray car. Hugo wins. Blessed end. Okay, sorry about that. Hugo did something I did not expect, which is, you know, he beat the world record. It didn't count. So what did he do? Well, he downloaded the competition patch. And then he beat it again with a 40.19, albeit a slower run. This is the official world record on the map. Again, driving with the Norwegian car. This time we'll be ready for it. So now you can see it. This trick, though, is so aesthetically pleasing. This backflip is just... mwah. And it kind of got discovered by accident. Players just carried too much speed through the start and then started crashing the ring. And then they realized, wait, this is not so bad after all. And just full sending with the slides here, landing to carry that speed from the quarter pipe. Extremely close here to be a tie. Is almost a tie, but the margins are in his favor. But you know, if you beat a world record twice, I think you deserve it, and Hugo has been able to keep it now for almost a year. The second record, beaten shortly after, was by Racehans on B14, dropping a 3064. 200ths of a second on this map, huge margin. Demon versus Racehans, this is a battle that's been ongoing for 10, soon 12 years, I think, in Trackmania Nations Forever. And Racehans gets one back here. Star trick followed by no airtime in the downhill. And then you have to jump all the way left, going extremely close to the white roof here. Canceling the slide, going fully to the right, and then setting up to the left towards this corner. Here, Racehans carries a lot of speed, an inhuman checkpoint split here. Then you gotta tilt the car, get a speed slide up the hill, cancel that speed slide, and another tight turn with a speed slide into the finish. 0.64. I struggle to see this being improved. The precision is just, you know, it's hard to appreciate in real time, but then you slow it down and it's like, goddamn. And then this corner. Whew. Sorry, what? Yeah, no, these guys are really pushing every corner here. The third map is EO4. And this time we get to show the full route again. So what happened here is that Link improved his own world record, but then it was later beaten by Dennis. So Link improved his world record in May of 2023, and Dennis later improved it. Now you get to see some different approaches for this huge new route that was discovered the year before. Here we go. Long map, a lot of tricks. But the most important one is in the start. Just making it across these two jumps. It's not at all easy. Gotta land with speed, land here with speed, and then fly. Clipping here to go down into the checkpoint. Dennis with a better jump than Link. And now 1 minute of driving ensues. One minute of flawless driving. Better jump there for Link. Catching up. The wall bang. This can be failed. If you slow down too much, you can never land on this downhill. But Dennis got it really well. And then again, small release of the acceleration to land early here. So that you push into the ring. Respawn. For the second time in this run. And Dennis got a bit of a slow landing, so Link is catching up. It's the last jump onto the bridge here, next to the signs. Link lands with way more speed, but Dennis is able to hold the lead, going around the corner and securing the record. 1:29.11 now, and 2 years earlier this is a 1:31, so the record has improved by 2 full seconds. Moving on. D10. The last we saw of this was a walk walk from Demon, and it was improved twice since then. First by Half-Est, and then later taken back by Wave Demon. So the blue Argentina skin is the old world record we saw earlier against the 2 new records. 0.21 from Half-Est and 0.17 from Demon. The new records both have just marginally better starts. But Demon had a really good part here in his old world record. And he is actually going to be, like, his old record was the fastest one. Whereas Half-Est is quite far. Good landing here, though. Really good speed. Great drift as well. 2 new records up front, but Demon's 0.17. Extremely strong all the way through. Half-Est gets a bit closer, but 44.17 from Demon. They are getting quite close to the limit here. You would think, but I hope 2024 will be the year where a certain strategy on this map is pulled off. No leaks, but there is a certain trick on this map which could save about a second if a certain someone pulls it off. We'll see if this is the year it's finally done. Next map. EO3 Endurance. A new world record from Rayson's, old world record from Astas. The reason I laugh, by the way, is that this map is the only map in the entire game's campaign that can make all the top players look like amateurs. I feel like I want to show this to you, but we gotta, you know, put on some music that kind of highlights the mood. Camera on Raysons, there's a lot of strategies here. I'll try to explain them as we go along. The run starts out with a small shortcut. To reduce airtime, you go out to the right, you drop down. Then you go past all these bumps onto the left side, and you jump with this mountain into the second checkpoint, before climbing over the wall into the third, and respawn. This is the most consistent strategy. There is another thing players do, but very inconsistent. Now here, Estas gets a small landing bug. A fun fact about this map is there have never been, and probably never will be, a world record on this map without bugs. Estas got another small bug there, losing him time. The dirt blocks in this game are so buggy that on a map with uncalculated transitions like this, you're just gonna get one. You are in landing bug hell. Let's turn the attention over to Astas, who is quite far behind Raysons already in lap 1. Raysons had an extremely clean first lap, with no bugs. This huge drop down, also a massive landing bug spot. Both players avoid it. Astas with a bit of a shaky mountain climbing line, but no bug, and already you can see huge differences. This lead will diminish. This lead is not going to last. Because you can drive 1 lap without bugs. That has happened. 2 laps without bugs has happened. But all 3, it's just a game of numbers. At some point you will eventually bug. Estes drove really well in the start of this lap though. That's part of the reason why he's catching up so much. Oh, and I think Rayson's almost had a bug there. It wasn't a bug actually. You can also see Rayson's gaining a little bit through this part due to a better line. Still about 1 second ahead. Jump onto the road. Bug slide once again. Still that 1 second gap. Huge landing bug ankle twister for Estes. Costing him maybe 0.3, 0.4, and then a beautiful jump. Every time you hear this like clank sound, that means something went a little wrong. It's a beautiful game, Trackmania. It's easy to complain about the bugs, but I always think the fact that we have so many cool bugs and a few that are annoying makes it more stomachable, you know? Like the fact that Raysons drove almost perfect for 3 minutes and then in this landing lost all of his speed before an overwall, reducing his lead to 0. Like, we can look past that. We can look past that because the game has a lot of cool bugs too. It's not only bad bugs. But the bad ones are a bit annoying. And here, you know, it goes both ways. Estes driving extremely clean with only 1 bug. Just randomly loses all his speed here. It happens. This is the game we play. This is the game we're playing. If Trackmania was a perfectly coded game, I think it'd be boring. So I think we gotta take what we got. Have you gone for the track record on this? I have. I had the world record on this in 2019. My personal best is a 4:37. And these records are 4:36. Raysons is quite far ahead here. And I'm not sure if Estes went for it. No, he did not. He went normal way ending on this run. There are a lot of shortcuts that these records aren't doing yet on the 3-lap version. Because, you know, there's still over a second to gain if you don't bug. But I want to give you a little bit of an insight into what could happen here. And so Estes recently got the 1-lap world record with this one right here. And you can take a look at the strats. They are going to be a bit different. In the start, it's the same. Jumps over here. Then the overwall. And now here he wants to keep driving through the checkpoint and climb over this wall, over the fence, landing next to the road and then continuing to drive, saving about a second. Now there is a skip to the left that he's not going for. Rayso likes to go for that. And you could do that combined with this to save another second, but that other skip is really hard. And then the run kind of continues as normal. Where at the very end though, right here, Estes takes a different line this time. Trying to not be too fast so you can land quite early here. Bug slide to the left and fly into the finish directly, which saves another second. And right here you can see the Rayso variant. So look, he's 1.6 seconds behind on this checkpoint. Then going out to the left, driving the track in reverse for these next 2 checkpoints. This checkpoint split is inaccurate. And so is this one, but then you can jump up to the right, land on this dirt hill, carrying speed down to the right, and then jumping onto the road from here. And he basically just gained 1.5 seconds towards Cestus. So if you combine all this, I mean, you can gain like 2.5 seconds per lap and then 3.5 in the last lap for a combined time save of like 8.5 seconds. But it's never gonna happen because for every run you succeed at this with in the first laps, you'll just get a huge landing bug and your run will perish. But we'll see. We'll see. Exciting times. A lot of strategies that are up for grabs. The next run I'm gonna show you, in my opinion, just probably one of the most legendary in this entire compilation of runs. AO1 Race, the map that I showed earlier, where Luckadal spent 500 hours to beat Dwarker, got beaten in 2023. It is very interesting because Eddie, the player who beat it, goes for the World Record on basically every first map in every game. Trackmania 2 AO1, he goes for every O1 in the summer campaign, in the winter campaign, in the fall campaign, in the spring campaign, in the new game as well. He really likes to hunt these O1 maps and try to perfect them. And we were like, okay, that's cool. He's doing this O1 project, but there's no way he's gonna beat AO1. I mean, that run is absurdly optimized. And then we kept seeing his records in this hunting Discord we have just getting further and further. You know, Luckadal has 2380 and Eddie was getting 84 PB, and then a couple months later, 83 PB, then 82, and 81, then he tied it, and at last, everyone, he got the 79. 2379 on Trackmania's first map, and the last 10th of a second barrier you will ever see on this map. No one will drive a 0.6. In fact, the human limit might just be a 0.78. Eddie, in his own words, said that this is basically his fastest start ever, combined with a great first speed slide, slightly unoptimal second speed slides to nerves, but really pristine run. Enjoy. Huge lead. Speed sliding all the way. Speed slide in the uphill. Getting the tilt to go through the finish with a 0.7. Just insane. And what a chat, by the way. Swede driving with the Norwegian car skin. I mean, this is... It deserves watching just on its own to appreciate the precision. This is in slight slow motion. Just, I mean, wow. And then the replay ends there because of the time skip, but amazing run by Eddie. AO1, maybe beaten for the last time, maybe not. We've seen surprises before. If someone beats this, though, that's completely absurd. You might notice that there aren't as many world records in 2023 as there are in 22. But it's a little misleading because late in the year this year, one player who we've talked a lot about today uploaded 5 world records on the same day. Projects that had taken him, I think, a combined total of 1,000 hours of playtime. And that was Dennis, who on the 20th of September last year just dropped 5 world records at the same time. C10, C14, D09, D12, and E04 all on the same day. And Plusterex made a great video showing these accomplishments. So let's watch that is the video. Dennis destroys Nadeo world records. Starting with D09, where he was the one talking about, you know, going for the shortcut. And he tried it for a long time before eventually realizing there's an even better shortcut approach. He found this himself and he became the first to do it. Jumping out to the right with an edge bug and landing on this lower ledge and then just driving up for less airtime and a quicker checkpoint split. Reminder that the old world record from Trinity was 41.59 here. Still driving an insane drift. Landing in the downhill with speed. Jumping onto the statue. Quite low turn, leaving a little bit of room for safety. Small brake tap, still jumping. With a lot of speed towards the finish. And a final time of 40.85. 0.8 almost faster than the old world record. Playing for 90 hours, trying different setups till he found what he was hoping for. Crazy that it all worked out. Next map, C14. A map he has battled for years on with Estas, going for this skip right here, where you bug slide, hit the back wheels on the road edge and fly to this road. It might be hard to see what this achieves, but if you pause right here, you can maybe see the road snaking. So with this bug slide, you skip having to slow down, then go through this slow turn and go up the road. Really precise, because you have to bounce quite high off the road edge to get there. And then land in a drift and continue as if nothing happened. Sunglasses on. This first lap basically is as fast as the tool assisted run on the map. But what the old world record did here is now drive normal way. But Dennis is the first player in the world who managed to do 2 of these back to back in a run and then continue driving. I hope you are seeing this number. 700 hours of playtime. This might be more hours than you have in your entire 5 years of playing Counter-Strike or League of Legends or Rocket League. And Dennis put it all into getting this one world record. And Plustrix doesn't show it in this video, but the run doesn't end there. That was 2 laps. There's still one more. Do you know what he does in the last lap? The run is so far from over after he lands the skip. This skip is so rare. Still, he goes for an alternative version of the same skip in the last lap. Not just 2 for 2, but 3 for 3. Where in the last lap, you don't have to land on the road. You can go wider. Go down on the grass. Drive around this entire road. And then overwall into the finish. This is a 1:37.65. He beat the world record on this map by almost 2 seconds. And he just said, amen. The blessed C14 one. 700 hours? Sometimes doesn't matter if it takes you 700 hours. If you get the result you're after, then it is all worth it in the end. Next map. He still got 2 more world records. He beat C10 acrobatic as well. And the thing that happened here, and the only reason he wanted to play the map, is because there was a task strategy found. Tool assisted speedrunners found out that you can get a teleport on this map. You can get a teleport. So when you jump up, if you, instead of landing all the way on the road, if you land at the very edge, you can get teleported. You see this? You can get teleported onto the road because the game is like, oh, you're bugging into the ground. Let's help you up because that's weird. So you land on the edge and you get teleported towards the finish. And so when Dennis kind of saw this, he was like, hey, you know, I'm curious to try this. So he did. Good start. Slower jump, but then he gets the teleport. He's behind on the jump up. You can see here, he's clearly not jumping as far. Lands on the edge, gets the teleport into the finish. Minus 100th. And then D12 speed. A map where Jan had the world record. And Jan played this for a long time as well. I don't remember the numbers Jan said he has on this, but Dennis has played countless hours. I mean, the amount of good runs Dennis has on this map is truly staggering. And here is the eventual improvement. And this one has a crazy fun fact about it as well. Gets an extremely good shortcut there. Nice nosedive into the death loop. That loop tends to give you a plethora of landing bugs, not amazing landing bugs. Last wall ride, low line. And then tight line on the zigzag into the finish. 38.36. Old world record was 38.43. Do you know what Dennis did for this record? Here's a Xbox controller. Most people would hold their controller like this, right? Dennis's controller broke. Like the stick broke. So what he did, instead of buying a new controller, he started playing with it upside down and then using the other control stick, inverted steering, to have a new left control stick. And that is how he beat this record. This entire run is driven with an upside down controller. Like this. Actually, only the start. Wait, how does that make sense, Dennis? You play the rest keyboard? Wait, you switched? It took 207 top 10 runs to get it. So that essentially means landing this skip over 200 times in top 10 pace before he got the god skip. Dennis is, in the modern age of Trackmania hunting, probably the most dedicated player. The last 2 years, he's just gotten so many insane records on different maps. I mean, definitely applause worthy. He is in chat right now, so claps all around. Still a few more records to show though. Shortly after, in October, Demon managed to beat Hefest on C15 by 100th of a second. Another great battle on C15. This map is hated by a lot of players because of this next loop, where it's very hard to avoid a landing bug. You need an exact nosedive to not get a big slowdown. And Demon got it really good, keeping up with Hefest, who is about 500s ahead, but Demon sets up wider. Will try to get more speed towards the dirt ending. Catching up here across the platforms. Slightly better landing. And then more inside line towards the finish. Small release needed to go through the finish line. And it actually looks like Hefest was ahead before he crashed. Oh my. He was. Wait, did this cost Hefest the record? I didn't even know this until I saw it now. No, he is actually behind. Yeah, he was actually behind here. Might have had to do a late release Hefest to not crash the fin. The top 2 records right now in C15. Another record for Demon as well, who takes some of the less flashy records, but, you know, these records are still incredibly difficult to beat, so 3 more things to take a look at. The first thing I want to show you is a thing that started in October, the same month that Demon got that run, which is that a professional player by the name of Tween, who used to compete for World Records in Trackmania Nations Forever, then later went on to playing Trackmania Esports, made a return to Trackmania Nations Forever. He, in October, started a project where every day he would upload 1 lap of a record on a map that is 60 laps long. That is EO5 Endurance. He says, so, I have a new personal best on EO5 Endurance, the final 60 lap map of the TMF campaign. Over the next 60 days, starting tomorrow, I'll be sharing a lap here on this Twitter account. And on the 31st of December, I will upload the replay to Trackmania Exchange and wish you a happy new year. And I can tell you that there are surprises, and hopefully this approach will showcase them. Anyways, so Tween started that project. And at New Year's Eve, he did upload a record. We'll see when we get there. But right now, we're in October and November. And we're soon in December, where on the map B15, after a lot of hunting, after many failed attempts, Hefest finally got this run. a huge improvement for a map as simple as B15. I mean, this map is really not complex, right? It's a few turns, and he just got everything really clean. Precise lines too, like, whew, you know? But this run started a conversation actually in the hunting Trackmania Discord that we have, where a lot of Trackmania 2020 records are using a trick that we call quantum sliding, which happens on these wide open dirt turns, where the strategy is often the same. You start out with a sharp turn, and then at the exit of a turn, you snap into a no slide, you connect the skid marks behind the car, and then try to no slide the rest of the turn. And so when watching this record from Halffest, I was like, wait, has this ever been tried in Trackmania Nations Forever? Have quantum slides ever really been experimented with? And so I asked Samifying, Geometry Dash YouTuber, and one of the best quantum slide players in Trackmania, to like, can you go on one of the TMNF maps and just try like quantum sliding a bit and see what you get? Can you just do some experiments, right? The map is B11. And he's set himself up with the task tool to just get a save state, but it's him driving. And look at what we found. This is versus the world record with the same spawn point. Here, he starts the quantum slide. So sharp turn, snap into no slide, and then speed slide with full grip. This also works on CO5. It's the strategy I mentioned earlier. It does not work on B15, but this started a lot of hype around, you know, potentially a new era of hunting where you could do quantum slides all over the place. This is something that's got people hyped, and people started practicing this on B11, but surprisingly, the world record on B11 was actually beaten without it. The player Link managed to get a start so good that he did not want to chance it with the quantum slide. He just drove an exceptionally clean run and beat race hunts the normal way with old strategies, but it's still a really impressive record on New Year's Eve 2023. Look at this start. Almost a car length ahead. Setting up wide, and he still has more speed. This is ridiculous, right? And then unfortunately gets a little bit of a bad bump here, gets pushed wide and nearly loses the lead, but still clings onto it. And yeah, as Reroute says, this run beat the tool assisted record in the start. And so if you quantum slide with these splits, a 26.5 is possible. Yeah, it's hard to get everything in one run. It's always hard, but I'm hoping that, you know, although the records get more optimized and although it's gonna require more effort, you can still see that there's still so many things left that players haven't done on these maps. One record left, everybody. And this brings me back to Twitter, where I mentioned Tween was uploading every day, 1 lap per day. And people started calculating his splits. You can actually, since it's 60 laps for the same map, you can kind of get a good estimate on what pace he's on. The world record is a 53-minute 25 by Demon. And for the first couple of laps here, Tween was slightly better than that pace. Then he made a mistake very early on in lap 7, which put him on a projected pace 10 seconds behind the world record if he kept this average. Just driving 1 lap of 54 seconds instead of 53 basically ruins your average, and you need to fight with a lot of clean laps to gain that back. And this lap just had a simple mistake near the ending, if I remember correctly. I, in fact, don't even remember where the mistake was. Oh, it was here in the uphill, yeah. So a small crash there. But it's 53 minutes of driving, and then he starts driving just regularly, low 53.04 lap. This is one of the best human laps ever. In fact, before this run, nobody had done a 52-second lap. Start driving these consistently. 53.02, second fastest lap of the run. 53.2, 53.3. Consistently fighting back, and suddenly his projected pace is quicker than Demon's again. But now he has to keep that up. He's still only 1/3 of the run through. He gets another 54-second lap, and it's back to a 53.27 projected. 53.1, 53.1, 53.08, 53.2, 53.1, 53.4, and he's back on 53.20 pace. At the 28th lap mark, he basically crosses the line exactly equal to Demon. 52.95. Lap 30, I want to show you this one, is the world record fastest lap ever done without shortcut on EO5. And Tween did this halfway through the run. Basically showing all the strats. You need a tight slide to the right here, followed by a wallbang and a tight turn to the left, using all the space. Then setting up for this drift around the corner, carrying all the speed, the space you can. Then set up wide here and push with the drift. Go wide. Then a small release and a tilt to the left to land at the top of the hill. Carry speed towards the engine off. Then one small brake tap at the top of this hill so you don't fly too far. Landing in a nose slide, and then carrying all that speed into the next lap with a tilt. So you tilt the car over this final edge, less airtime, 52.95 lap. He kept this pace up for a long time, and his projected was going very low, 53.23. Kept going down, staying around that mark, 53.23. And then, guys, right near the ending, disaster struck. Absolute disaster. Lap 53. He drives a 55.39. And what happened is that after driving for nearly 50 minutes, in this corner, he was not steering to the right for long enough, so the drift didn't activate. And he got a no drift. If the car had started sliding there, he would have made the turn. But full bonk. And from this point on, for the last 7 laps, the only way to get world record is a 53.3 average. He's this far behind Demon. And at this point, I think I've given you enough context. Let's pull up the run and let's see if he makes it or not. One moment, guys. I'll show you the last 3 laps, okay? So into lap 57, Demon is 0.4 ahead. You can see the splits there, 0.4 ahead after 50 minutes of driving. They've both done, for the most part, like 97, 98% clean laps. And their average laps, I can just tell you, are better than my PB laps and many players' top best laps ever. Like, to get the world record, you need to drive an average of 53.4. I think the best lap I've ever done is like 53.6, so... just to put it into perspective, like, the crashes you see, they look foolish, but the rest of the run is so damn fast that, you know, you need to drive extremely fast to beat these guys. Tween gets a great lap, and the difference is now just 0.1. 2 laps to go. Just think of how extreme it is that the difference is this little after 58 laps. Tween now temporarily in the lead as he goes down the hill. Wallbang. Still ahead. The drift setup. Still ahead. Full risking. The mistake he had probably got him a bit nervous, realizing he could lose his fast run, but it also put him in an all or nothing position. He had to push to catch up. Demon gets a great no airtime trick there. 200ths. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go with this difference. I mean, it's insane, right? .900ths apart before the downhill. Tween tends to do this a little bit better, and Demon tends to do the ending of the laps a little bit better. The players often have the same habits for each lap, like the same setup, the same drift, so people have tried to calculate what, like, whose lines are better, and For this next trick, Demon risks more, jumps more diagonally, and tries to land with the back wheels earlier. So he was 0.27 behind, and he might be like 0.22 behind near the checkpoint here. 0.24. Demon jumping very close to the edge as well. Last lap, 0.22 difference. This is the last lap. 53 minutes of driving. This record from Demon has stood since 2020, I believe. Demon hunts it every year. Tween is so close to beating it. Is he gonna pull through? 2021. Demon's getting closer, and he is better at this no airtime trick. It's only 0.2 difference. Demon gets a good one. Lands with a lot of speed. Getting a lot closer to Tween now. Final jump. Tween gets a great setup. It's 0.1 difference, but Tween has the line to push through the ring and stay ahead, beating the longest map in the game in 53 minutes, 25 seconds, and 28 hundredths. A new world record after almost an hour of driving. And if you look at the rest of the top 10, very few people are even close to this pace. Demon has since tried to take it back. He had a run this year that was insane. It was on pace for 53.19 for a while, but he crashed around lap 34. These are Demon's splits from the God run that wasn't meant to be. Split you want to look at is the blue split here. That is the difference to his personal best. So we saw it was 0.2 difference. At lap 34, he was 4 seconds ahead of PB, over halfway through the run. Driving consistently 0.1, 0.0 in almost every lap. Only one small mistake in lap 27, but then disaster struck. So, I mean, we might see EO5 go further. It's a really cool map to follow, the endurance aspect of it all. But that is all the world records that were set in the last 2 years. I'm gonna leave you with one final one though. One bonus record. It was set this year, but it's one of the coolest records we have so far this year. So, one bonus record. The player Simi has been grinding a lot of official records lately, and he grinded A13 early on this year. 4 days of playing this map led him quite close to the world record. Keep in mind it is a 27:47 by Link. The tool assisted record for normally on this map, as far as I can tell, is a 27:40. 27:42, 27:40 were some of the best tool assisted runs. And then out of nowhere, Simi drops this run. $27.47 to beat. It's a clean start. Slide cancel, set up on the left side, flick to the right, get the bug slide, hop over the wall, land on the booster, insane jump, beautiful air brake, straight to the finish. 27:34. Actually beating some of the earliest task runs on this map. The current task, I mean, it's I mean, you don't want to know. Do you want to know? I feel like it's not fair to compare this to the task, but I'll show. It's stupid. It's so stupid that no one's gonna think it's comparable. Yeah, so it's apparently a 17-second run. I thought it was a little slower, but it's 17 seconds. I remember this one. So what they do is they go here, then get a Ramstein pillar hit Uber bug directly to the finish. What? This is not a human. This is not human. The run from Simi is so damn good. But guys, that is Trackmania Rewind. I really hope you've enjoyed learning a lot about these records. Do check out all the original videos from the players that I mentioned. They work so hard to set these records. So I'll see you for next Rewind in a year, hopefully with more records. If you're an aspiring player, please download TMNF. Come join us, beat some records, and let's have a nice celebration of our accomplishments next year too. And mark my words, here and now prediction, I will be in it. In the next rewind, I will have a run. I did not unhoard anything. Maybe I'll have to do that next year, but I will have a run next year, all right? Bye-bye for now, YouTube friends. Bye-bye for now. This will be a highlight for you guys.